my name is Mohammed.
Hi, I'm Jonathan.
Hi, I'm Rigo. And this is the sociology project, so yeah.
Eddie had a family emergency, couldn't make it. But he's still part of our group. He came up with these questions. Alright, so give him credit to poor Eddie, you know?
Over the last few decades, the United States has gotten pretty diverse, and with that, a lot of cultures and a lot of different races have been added to the arsenal of this place since the beginning of the US history, actually. That doesn't mean that the implicit biases and the racist implications have been changed. In fact, it actually seems that there's even more of it today. Let's take a look at a Rubik's Cube. Now, I understand that a Rubik's Cube is absolutely completely obligatory compared to the entire racial issue that is going on in the US, but hear me out here. A Rubik's Cube is solved. And when we look at it, it matches all the colors that we want. Every color is its own designated spot. This is kind of like segregation. If you look at it, every color is supposed to be in its own protected border, if you take a look at that. But let's take a look at the white side, and let's go ahead and move a layer. We now see that we essentially have two colors now in one border, or sort of quote border. Now we have two colors. Let's move another layer 2 times. We have 3 colors. Now we have 4 colors. Now there are 5 colors. So with this experiment, you can see that if people were to broaden their eyes a little bit more to meeting new races and being more accustomed to them, our Rubik's Cubes aren't solved anymore, they're scrambled. Let's take a look at an example. So in this experiment, we decided to pull out 3 resumes, and in those 3 resumes, we went ahead and we put very stereotypical names of different races. And with these specific records and resumes that we built, we decided to go ahead and ask people around who they would pick as their employee to join their team. And these are the results that we got. Okay, so this is part of our sociology project. We have Andres here. Say hi, Andres.
Shalom.
Okay, and we're gonna give you a list of 3 resumes with 3 different names, and they all have the same credentials and everything. Their bios are a little different, so based on the names and that, which one would you pick to actually be a part of your company or a job?
Minutes to look at all of them?
Wait, does it say Cody Zuckerberg?
Yes.
Who's this Tyrone Johnson? Why do you put, wait, question. Why'd you put the accent on the R?
That was, I looked it up on a dictionary and that's how it said. Tyrone Johnson? Why would you pick Tyrone Johnson?
He's married. That means
He's single.
Huh?
He's single.
It says he's married.
Okay, Tyrone is married.
No, I think the real question is here, like, you don't know your own people, so what's going on here?
Who would you pick?
I choose Tyrone Johnson.
Why?
Why?
First of all, I find it pretty exotic that he has, like, the accent on the R. And none of that. It says he's married, and compared to the other ones, single. That means these guys don't have, I doubt they have any experience to commitment. And this guy's married, I'm pretty sure he's committed not only to love his life, but if he loves his job, because he's applying to it. So he's applying to it, so I'm considering that he really wants his job. So he's gonna end up loving it. So he's gonna have that same commitment he has to being married then with his job too. So that's what I choose.
Here we have Mr. Campos. Mr. Campos, you could say hi.
Hello.
Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you 3 resumes of 3 different people.
Okay.
And based on what their names are and what are their interests and their bios, which one would you pick to be a part of your company team?
Cool. All right. Well, right off the bat, I wouldn't hire any of them just because, like, they're not professionally done. But if they were all professionally done, let's see. Masters in education. They're all kind of the same. The only thing that's kind of different is like their bios. Oh, look at that! I hired Jose Gutierrez. That's the one I seems to prefer.
You prefer Jose Gutierrez?
Well, I liked his bio out of the other 3. In terms of a business environment, like, he came off that way, like, ready to work and serve for the better of the community. Like, I like that one out of the other 3 bios. The other one seemed like it was something you put on Instagram, you know?
As you can see, some of the people actually decided to go ahead and pick based off of what was on the resume, but others were a little bit more prone to their own personal judgments, and this is where things started to get real interesting. So we have our 3rd recipient, Andy Perez. Andy, say hi. Hi. Okay, so we're gonna give you a list of 3 resumes, and you're gonna tell us which one you think is the best for your job or company.
Okay. Close. Alright, we'll do it.
Oh, like in my, my opinion, like who would I hire?
Yeah.
Like in
Business
order,
owner, if you were a business owner.
if I was a business owner,
Like,
like
rate them from 1 to 10.
based on how society or me as an individual,
How would you see it?
me as an individual,
Based on how society influences you,
the way society,
your mindset.
the way society influences you, I'd go I'd go with Cody.
Bill Gates.
Because he's Caucasian. Not that I'm not a racist or anything, but because in today's society, Caucasians are seen as more superior, and they have more opportunities than any other. And then second, personally, I'd choose Tyrone. The reason why is because I would say that they want to prove the things that society has set upon them, like they want to prove them wrong.
Like what?
Like, for example, like how my friend said, like what, like African Americans get low paid jobs, or like they sell drugs. Like that's what you hear and that's what's seen in movies. So I would give Tyrone a chance, and the last person would be Jose Gutierrez. Well, me, when I think of Jose Gutierrez, I know a lot of Jose Gutierrez actually, and the Jose's I know, like from me personally that I know, they're very lazy. They don't do work, and like I would not choose them, just not based on other Jose's I know, just based on the Jose's I know.
What if Cody had no education while Tyrone has a college degree? Would you still choose Cody?
Because he doesn't talk, you have to talk back.
No, I wouldn't.
You still with it? Even with the higher education?
I would choose Tyrone.
Tyrone?
Yes.
Oh, so you would?
I would choose Tyrone. Yes.
Okay.
Education matters. Not that I support college. I don't think college is the answer for everything.
We can obviously say that Andy means absolutely no obligatory messes or anything, but it does show that he has an implicit bias. And this is what I wanted to get into with the Rubik's Cube. You see, with our solved Rubik's Cubes, we have this sort of implicit border and sort of mindset that this rigid space is our only time to actually accept these people. Now, you see, when we scramble the cube, we no longer have any borders because there is nothing keeping a color on a specific side. They're all scattered all over the place. This is a representation of what a teacher had in mind in this situation. Mr. Campos gave a great example of a scrambled Rubik's Cube because he showed that even without names or anything being expressed to them, he didn't really care about the race, he cared more about the job, which means he is more expanded, more mixed, if that sort of makes sense. His total implicit biases are kept away and they're not really shown in his scrambled Rubik's Cube. People have a hard time realizing that when their Rubik's Cube is scrambled, they always wanted to get it solved, so they do the best that they can to get it to solve. But the thing is that once people start realizing that it's alright for a Rubik's Cube to be scrambled and their own implicit biases to be mixed, that's when we really try to achieve what we want to achieve. We have more peaceful connections, we have a variety of different cultures that we can expand with. And that's essentially the topic of this video. It's essentially that we need to explore and expand on these biases. This experiment really brought out some of the implicit bias that we have inside of us. And the more we acknowledge it, the more that we try to counteract it, the more better we are all prone to living in a better society. Thanks for watching.
What if we told you the race? Would you still have the same decision?
I mean, this guy is. So, what are you implying if I choose him because he's African American? Are you implying I'm choosing him because of affirmative action?
No, he pushed me. I wasn't gonna fall.